Sanctuary, Office and Work of the High Priest, Part 4, compiled by Shirley Jean Street and read by Wayne T. Street. And when John in vision was shown the first apartment of the heavenly sanctuary with its 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne of God, he saw 24 elders seated upon 24 seats, and they worshipped the Lamb, saying, Thou hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and hast made us unto our God kings and priests. Revelation 4, verse 4, and Revelation 5, verses 8 to 10. In this, we see the antitype of the 24 courses of priests. The chiefs, or elders, of each course have seats of honor, and they are kings and priests after the order of Melchizedek. The remainder of the multitude Christ took into heaven are not mentioned, but it is reasonable to suppose that they constitute the courses of which the 24 elders are the chiefs. Only the descendants of Aaron were allowed to serve as priests. Numbers 3, verse 10. In the type, the priest who could not prove his genealogy direct from Aaron, the first high priest, was cast out of the priesthood. Ezra 2, verse 26. So, in the antitype, the Christian who cannot prove his direct connection with Jesus, the heavenly high priest, will never become one of the royal priesthood. 1 Peter 2, verse 9, and Revelation 20, verse 15. God has provided for the support of all the different orders of the priesthood by the same method. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24, verse 1. The silver and the gold and the cattle upon 1,000 hills all belong to him. Psalm 50, verses 1 through 12. Man is placed as steward over the Lord's heritage, and the Lord claims 1/10 of everything on the earth as his portion. All the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's. It is holy unto the Lord. Leviticus 27, verses 30 to 33. Of the tithe, the Lord says, I have given the children of Levi all the 10th in Israel for an inheritance for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Numbers 18, verses 20 to 24. The individual who selfishly uses the entire 10 portions for himself, not reserving 1/10 for the Lord, is guilty of robbing the Lord. Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Malachi 3, verses 8 to 11. Abraham paid a faithful tithe to Melchizedek. Genesis 14, verses 17 to 20. And Jacob promised to pay tithe of all, even if he received only food and raiment. Genesis 28, verses 20 to 22. Those who belong to the great household of faith and are children of Abraham will do the works of Abraham. They will pay a faithful tithe for the support of those who, like the Levitical priests, give their lives for the advancement of Christ's kingdom upon the earth. Just as the priests lived of the things of the temple, even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. 1 Corinthians 9, verses 9 to 14. Now we have the type and the antitype. The type, earthly priests; the antitype, Jesus, our high priest. Hebrews 8:5. The earthly priests served unto the example and shadow of heavenly things. Hebrews 10, verse 10. We are sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ. 1 Chronicles 24, verses 1 to 19 and 31. Priests were divided into 24 courses with a chief over each course. Revelation 4, verses 4 to 5, and Revelation 5, verses 8 to 10, John saw 24 elders in the first apartment of the heavenly sanctuary. Ezra 2, verses 61 and 62, there was a record kept of all who had a right to officiate in the priest's office. Revelation 20, verse 15, none will be saved whose names are not found written in the book of life.